Hey, if you're a DYI'er, you came to the right place. Hi, I'm Rob with Home Perfect Restoration. We're going to demonstrate how you cut baseboard today. This is going to be one of several DIY videos we're going to do for the most common projects that homeowners take on at their homes. And today it's going to be about cutting joints and how to do a coping joint. We'll be back to you in a second. So one of the most common projects that DIYers will do will be baseboard. The reason why, it's probably one of the easier type of home improvement projects that a homeowner can take on. It can be done with just a couple tools, some you may have or some that may be available to you at a rental yard, your local Home Depot or Lowe's rental center. Today we have our chop saw here that we're going to be cutting the baseboard with, but to do your project you're going to need either a miter box with a hand saw and a miter box, or a miter saw like we have here is a DeWalt compound miter saw. You can cut larger baseboards with this. You'll need some sort of nailing apparatus, a nail gun with a compressor, or you can nail by hand. Nailing by hand can be difficult because most of your baseboard products these days are made out of a material called MDF, which stands for medium density fiberboard. So it's a harder surface, so you'd need to pre-drill and pilot hole with a small drill bit, and then you can hand nail with a finish nail and with a finish hammer. One of the things we're going to talk about is when you're installing baseboard, especially a baseboard of this size. This is a 4-inch baseboard, and the taller the baseboard is, the more problems you'll have with your joints in the corner and the outside. The reason being is that your home is built out of imperfect materials. Your framing material, your drywall is an imperfect substrate, and to try to install moldings like a base molding or a crown molding, you're installing them over imperfect surfaces. So you have to have some level of tolerance in there to be able to manipulate and fit these joints properly so they look nice. At the end of the day, every piece of molding you're going to put in your house that is paint grade is going to have to be caulked, and so we'll go over that. So for today, we're going to work on cutting an inside joint for baseboard. So with taller baseboard, most professionals, and this is your pro tip, they cut the inside joints with a joint called a cope. And I'm going to show you the tool that they use to do it. So this is a specific coping saw. You may have seen one of these things before and didn't really realize what it is. It looks like an old school tool, which it actually is. It's been around for a very long time. I've used this coping saw on many joints before for baseboard and crown molding. There's other ways you can do it as well. They make tools now that are specifically designed, that are power tools for doing the coping cuts, or you can use a jigsaw to do that as well. So that's a very desired joint. So you look on this baseboard, what we have right here, we just have a traditional 45-degree angle. So when we put this into a corner of a wall, if the corner is not perfectly straight, the inside joint of this is going to open up, and you're going to have to move and manipulate this to get it to close, or you're going to have to use a lot of caulking to cover it up. So I'm going to teach you a trick here called coping that's going to show you how to fit that where it's going to be able to compensate for walls when they're out of whack and still maintain a good joint here. I'll be back. So as you can see here, we've already got a 45-degree cut on the end of this piece of baseboard. So when you cut on a 45-degree angle, right here along this line shows the profile of where you're going to cut. I'm sorry, cope. You're going to cope this line in through here, and we're going to cut out all of this meat that's inside here, and we're going to use this line as our guide and follow in with our coping saw and cut this out. When you see me cut, I'm going to demonstrate now. As I'm going to start cutting here in a straight line, I'm going to angle it slightly back so we're creating kind of a point so it can pivot on its edge up against the adjoining or abutting baseboard. This is MDF, so it cuts relatively easy. However, it is a little bit soft, so you have to be careful when you get to the ends of your cuts. I'm going to reverse this. I'm going to come back and hit this angle right here. And just follow right along that cut line. And then we'll tear that out like that. Make sure that's cleaned up. Now we'll come back this way. back out of this cut. Now this point's going to be tricky because it's soft in through here, and this corner a lot of times will break off. However, it's extremely small. A little bit of latex caulking will cover that. I'm going to do my best to not muck it up here. Bit more off of this. There we go. Now we're going to test fit this with another piece of baseboard and see how it fits. You may have to take a little more meat off. So this is your baseboard fitting up against the wall. So when we come over here, we're going to join this piece of crown, this molding in through here. You see it a little bit. This could probably, case to take a little more meat out of the back of this, and that would clean that joint up. I'm going to take a little bit more out of this, and let's see what it looks like after that. Now let's see what that looks like. Voila. There's your coped joint. This is a very good joint. I know it seems like it might have taken a little bit of time, but as you get going and you get better at this, I'm not wearing my glasses right now, so I had a difficult time seeing that. But as you go, it will become quicker and you will have very, very forgiving joints. So when you're doing coping, you work around the room working from your right to your left. So you'll go with your first piece that you run from wall to wall. It will be a straight butt cut and a straight butt cut on the other side. And then when you're moving along, you cut your cope, slide it in, and work that way all the way around the room. So that's all I have for you today. That's your pro tip. And next one we'll do is show you how to cut a coping cut on a piece of crown molding. I'm Rob with Home Perfect Restoration, and thanks for watching.